Israel Adesanya versus Dricus Du Plessis. I think that this would be the perfect fight for UFC Africa. I heard Uncle Dana White say Africa does not have the venues, we don't have the capabilities to host a UFC event because of venues and infrastructure and all those things. And I think that's incorrect. Right, South Africa hosted the biggest tournament in the world, which is the Soccer World Cup, the FIFA Soccer World Cup. We did that successfully in 2010. Right, all the infrastructure that was brought by the World Cup is still here. We've got the biggest venues, we've got the best stadiums, we've got domes that rival Madison Square Garden. And so when they say that Africa does not have the resources or the capability to host an event of the UFC's magnitude, I simply think that is incorrect. I think South Africa is ready today to host any UFC event. Like, they can bring it today. We have the venues, we have the infrastructure, we have the broadcasting infrastructure. We can reach the world with what we have. Now, I think the perfect fight to introduce the UFC to the African audience, for the UFC to take over in the African continent, would be Dricus Du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya. This brings in a whole different rivalry. It's not just a race rivalry, I don't buy that, but I think that the rivalry that exists between South Africa and Nigeria. The Nigerians don't like being beaten by the South Africans, and the South Africans don't like being beaten by the Nigerians. So it would bring two countries together, two rival countries together, and these countries are the heartbeat of the African continent, in my opinion. And so if they bring UFC Africa and it's South Africa versus Nigeria, they would have broken through the continent. They would have broken through the continent in a big way. Let me tell you, the UFC is big in Africa, right? The likes of Israel Adesanya, Kamaru Usman, Francis Ngannou, the Three Kings, they have brought the UFC to the African continent, and I think that the UFC is going to be pleasantly surprised if and when they decide to bring UFC Africa here. South Africa is ready. I believe there's a couple of venues in Nigeria as well. The African continent is way more developed than people give it credit for. We are way more developed than we are given credit for. So I think, it's going to be a dope fight. This is my opinion. I think that Dricuss should be given an opportunity. I think that Dricuss, since seeing that Izzy has beaten all the guys in the top 5, and some of them he's done it twice already. He just fought Alex Pereira and he's made it clear that he doesn't want to fight Alex again. Alex just announced that he's moving to light heavyweight. I think this gives Dricuss an opportunity. And if I'm Dricuss, I'm continuing to taunt Izzy, right? Like, I'm not apologizing for anything.